My kneecap subluxes several times during the day. Any tips? Hypermobility and kneecap problems are also really common, and I'm going to show you some things that you can do. One of the first things to do is to start stabilizing that kneecap. There are braces out there that you can get. They're usually called PTO braces or patellar tracking braces, and they help to stabilize that kneecap for you. The other thing you can do is try taping, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So kneecap issues, so we'll look down here, typically happen where you'll see the kneecap actually track up and out. So instead of staying in the groove where it's running straight up and down in a line like it should be here, what happens is, and hers is looks pretty good, but what'll happen is you'll see the kneecap here really start to rotate out, and this kneecap starts running the back of the kneecap into the side of the femur, and that's not comfortable. That's why it hurts, and when the pulley gets stuck, then those muscles can't work as well. So my favorite tape job for something like this with hypermobility is actually a McConnell technique, and I use McConnell tape because it's got strength and it'll stay for a few days. So we use this white tape, which is just a under tape. It doesn't do anything other than protect the skin from the brown tape. So I'm going to put it right over the center of that kneecap. Now, a lot of times when you have kneecap issues, instead of your kneecap being flat on your knee, that kneecap tilts out and it slides out. So instead of being centered, it's actually kind of sits more on the side, and this inside ridge is lifted up. Those are the ones that you can tell you really need some extra support. Now, we're going to use this brown tape to do all the work for us. So I'm going to find the edge of the kneecap here, and I'm going to do about a thumb's width to the outside of that kneecap. And then we're going to pull that kneecap over, and I do the work with my fingers, so not with the tape. If I just pull on the tape, now I'm just pulling on her skin. That's not comfortable. I'm going to do the work with my fingers. I'm going to straighten out just a little bit to hold that kneecap in place, and then once I've got it where I want it, I use the tape to anchor it and to pull it down. So I can correct that glide so it's more in the center, and that tilt so that it's pulling back down. Now, if she was going to do it herself, you can actually use your own hand to pull that kneecap over, and then your other hand to anchor it. That is really as easy as it gets. You can get more technical and specific with adjusting angles, but in terms of basics, that tends to work really well. And it's something that if you feel like it's not tight enough, well, add another piece, tighten it up. If you feel like it's too tight, then just lift up, loosen it up a little bit, and that helps support that. With that, once you've got either bracing or taping, then you have to get rid of the swelling. Because of how that kneecap tracks and kind of jams into the side, you get swelling, and you notice the swelling because you either feel like you have a golf ball in the back of your knee, because that's where the open space is in the knee, or the top of your knee gets really puffy and swollen. That is also a sign of swelling. You want to ice about 15 to 20 minutes every day for 7 to 10 days, whether your knee bothers you or not, just to try and break that inflammation cycle. So you support the kneecap so it's working better. You get rid of the ice, or get rid of the ice, not the ice. You get rid of the swelling, and then you need to strengthen it up, because this inside quad muscle, kind of on the inside of your knee, it is really susceptible to swelling. It's called your VMO. You've got 3 quad muscles on the outside that pull that kneecap, only 1 on the inside. So if that one's not working well, this kneecap starts shifting out. So we got to make sure that that muscle is working. My favorite exercise, and the best one I have found for working with this, is doing some straight leg raises. Now you can do it long sitting, because a lot of times people with hypermobility can actually long sit. You can also lie down, but you're gonna keep your knee straight, tighten up this muscle right here, and then lift your leg. You don't have to go really high. What you do have to do is make sure that this muscle is activating, and you can feel it, you can see it. Now, if you're somebody who can hyperextend their knee, you don't want to hyperextend. You want to work on tightening and keeping that knee straight, but not trying to hyperextend there, because we don't want the pressure on the joint. We want to work on that knee control. This has been the exercise that seems to work the best with the least chance of flare-up to get that working. So we have the support it, ice it, strengthen it, and the last piece is you have to watch your mechanics. So, and I talked a little bit about it last week, but if you have a kneecap tracking issue, you have to watch and make sure that your knees stay in line with your feet and don't come in. So if your knee drops in, that pushes that kneecap out into that subluxing position. So that means every time you go to stand up, you got to make sure that you have space between your knees and that you're not doing the stabilizing knees together up and down. You really want to avoid that. So knees going forward all times. Stairs, same thing. Walking, keeping those knees apart. That way you're not bringing that in. The more you come in, the more that kneecap goes in. The last couple of things is squats. If you're going to do squats, and actually there's good research that even after your knees are better, they feel great, you still want to avoid going past 70 degrees of knee flexion. So if you're going to squat down, you want to go to about 70 degrees. So that full 90 degree angle is too far. You get too much force on that kneecap, and that tends to cause problems. So you just need to shorten it up. That doesn't mean you can't ever squat down. It means if you're going to do strengthening, repeated movements, you want to watch that angle. Don't do the full 90 degrees. Once again, arch supports and good shoes are helpful, because if your ankle pronates and it turns in, if your ankle turns in, your knee tends to follow, that kneecap's going out. So keeping that foot stable and that arch stable allows you to control your knee, which then allows you to keep the rest of you nice and stable and upright as well.